All right, welcome to week three of Brownie Week. And today we're making what has been a Wilkes family favorite brownie for a long time. In fact, this recipe for marshmallow brownies was given to me by my husband's aunt years and years ago, and we've been making it ever since. For me, chocolate and marshmallow is really a perfect combination. It totally reminds me when I was a kid. I used to love a bowl of vanilla ice cream with chocolate sauce on top, and then I'd add and stir in marshmallows, and I'd stir it all together. Well, these chocolate marshmallow brownies totally satisfy that craving for me. Now, these marshmallow brownies are a combination of a fudgy brownie layer with a gooey marshmallow layer topped with a delicious chocolate frosting layer. So many layers of yumminess and goodness in this brownie. I'm excited for you to try it. Now, the original recipe, of course, from my husband's aunt makes a 9x13 pan. I will link to it down below if you would like a full-size version. But one of the things I love about these small batch versions, it allows Jim and I to enjoy all those family favorites we used to make when we had a house full of kids. We can still make them in the small batch form, and we're not afraid of eating in the entire 9x13 ourselves. We're gonna start with the brownie layer. I have got in my bowl here a 1/4 cup of melted salted butter. If you're using unsalted butter, you'll just add in a little bit more salt when we add that salt in. We're gonna use a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon, measure with your heart, vanilla. And let's just give that a mix together. We want to get all that sugar nice and dissolved into that warm butter. Now, I melted the butter in the microwave. You can, if you don't have a microwave, totally do it in a saucepan on the stovetop. And then we're going to add in 1 egg. Now we're ready for our dry ingredients. So for our dry ingredients, I'm using 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour. I just like to scoop it. I just take a knife and I scrape off the top. There we go. And then 1/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. And then we're gonna just mix this till all our ingredients are incorporated. One thing you just wanna avoid is always with your baked goods over mixing. That's why I do this by hand, especially with a small batch and we're using smaller amounts. It's really easy to over mix it. Over mixing can cause your brownies to totally fall right in the middle. So just mix it until all your dry ingredients are incorporated. Now we are ready for our pan. I am gonna grab a spatula. We wanna make sure we get all the ingredients out of the bowl. And then just go ahead and add it to your prepared pan. I'm going to use my trusty little offset spatula that I use and love so much. Just spread it so it's a nice even layer. Then we are going to pop this into our 350-degree oven for 20 minutes until, you'll be able to tell the edges will start to look a little dry. Pull away from the sides. A toothpick will come out clean. All right, there we go. It's ready to go in. All right, we've taken the brownies out of the oven. Now, I have turned my oven off, but while they are still warm, we're gonna take a 1/2 cup of mini marshmallows and just cover the top of our brownies with them. All right, kind of as evenly distributed as possible. Now, we're gonna take this, pop it back in the oven, let it sit in there for 1 to 2 minutes to let the marshmallows melt and start to puff up. Those marshmallows have puffed up, and we're just gonna set that aside for a minute while we make the frosting that is gonna go on top. Now, I'm gonna do this on the stove top. If all you have is a microwave, you can do it in the microwave too. I have 2 tablespoons of salted butter in here. We're gonna add in 1 tablespoon of unsweetened cocoa powder. We're gonna use 1.5 tablespoons. I'm using 1/2 and 1/2. You could use heavy whipping cream. You could just use whatever milk you have in your refrigerator. 1.5 teaspoons of that. And then 1 cup of powdered sugar. And we're gonna put this on the stove top, stir it till that butter melts, everything incorporates. We do not want it to come to a boil though, okay? So just stir it till it's all melted and combined. All right, after that is all melted together, it's cool enough I can set over here. We're gonna add in just a little bit of vanilla You know me, I don't measure, I just add. And now this frosting that we're using is actually, if you've ever tried my small batch chocolate sheet cake, which is like a Texas sheet cake, one of my most popular recipes here on Small Batch Big Taste, this is the same frosting. So we're gonna put it on while it is still warm, and it's gonna kind of form this, kind of melt down in a little bit and form this nice glossy finish. So just go ahead and drizzle it over the top. It might melt your marshmallows a little bit more, but that is totally okay. All right, and then I'm gonna grab that offset spatula I like so much. Spread it a little bit. Just nice and gently so you don't dislodge those marshmallows. Now we're gonna let this set up, let that frosting harden, and enjoy. Now, one thing you could do with these brownies if you wanted more of a Rocky Road type brownie is go ahead and add some chopped walnuts or pecans into your brownie, and then you've got a Rocky Road brownie. The marshmallows, the nuts, and the chocolate. Our brownies are ready. I have let them chill in my refrigerator to let that frosting on top set up, because it makes them easier to cut because of the marshmallow in there. It can be a little trickier to cut. Now, if you want to cut into them warm and enjoy them, totally go for it. Just know that they're not going to look as pretty because it's going to be harder to get through that melted marshmallow. But we're going to just lift that parchment paper right out of there. And then we are ready to slice them. Now, I did mention earlier, I think, that you could add in nuts into this, especially if you want to make it more like a Rocky Road brownie. But I have a couple other options for you too. Chopped up candy bar, Heath bar, toffee bits, sprinkle that in on top of the marshmallow, then frost it. So good. If you want to make it a s'mores brownie, go ahead and crumble up some graham cracker and add it on top of the marshmallow and then add the chocolate frosting. That one is yummy too. And the holidays, sometimes I like to turn it into a peppermint candy cane brownie, and instead of vanilla extract, I will use peppermint extract, and then I will add some crushed candy cane in on top of the marshmallow. So lots of fun options for you if you come up with your own variation. Leave a comment down below and let me know. All right, so you can see this is still a little gooey, but that's totally okay. Now, one trick I have found that makes it easier to cut is to use like a serrated knife. This is a bread knife, and we're just gonna go ahead, let me cut into it here and show you. But see, you're still gonna let a little gooiness on your knife. So what you'll wanna do is just go ahead, grab a paper towel here, and wipe off your knife in between your cuts. That will make it a little easier. It just gives you a little cleaner cut to your brownie. All right, here we go. You see that there, the layer of chewy brownie. We've got marshmallow on top and then a yummy fudge-like frosting. It's really similar to the one on my Texas sheet cake. So I hope you will enjoy this week's part of Brownie Month, our marshmallow brownies. We have one more week, I think, coming next week. So make sure you come on back and check that one out. If you missed any of the other brownie recipes, I'm gonna link to them over here, and I'll see you in the next video.